Hi, my name's Anna. Welcome to my channel. Isn't it a lovely day? This video will cover tips about how to prepare for and have an amazing job interview and ensure that where you're applying for is the right fit for you. Let's do this! Applying for a job. What to prepare? We're going to take a step back. Before you get to the interview, you got to apply for the job first. What type of job are you applying for? What skills are needed? What experience do you have? If you have time before you apply for a job, enter competitions, go to networking events, conferences, and speak with people in your industry and ask them about their experiences. First, what are the requirements of this job that you're applying for? Of course, you should have most, if not all, of the skills and experience required for a position. Having said that, apply for jobs even if you don't think you have a chance. Something amazing could come out of it, and if nothing else, you gained valuable experience and practice. No harm, no foul. You don't succeed if you don't try, but make sure to be honest with your experience and abilities in your application and the interview. Even if your portfolio isn't fantastic or you don't have all of the experience they're asking for, if you make it to the interview, then you have a shot. So focus on all of the things that you do have and what you can bring to the team. When reviewing the role requirements, come up with examples of times that you've met those requirements in the past and have them ready to hand when you need to talk about them in the interview. If you have other interests or hobbies, you can try and work those into the conversation of the interview by showing how that experience has benefited you in other ways. Having a diverse and well-rounded background could actually make you better at your job, so don't forget to include it. For example, if you play on a sports team, it can help with communication, dispute resolution, and working well with others. You can include your hobbies in your CV and make sure you have it up to date with no spelling errors. If you could creatively make your CV stand out amongst the crowd, then go for it, as long as it's appropriate. Funny story, when I actually went to 3 interviews, they were all like, why is your CV 8 pages? I mean, it's beautiful, but like, why'd you do that? And I was like, seriously? Why? When you're in the process of updating your CV, make sure you also get back in contact with your references and see if their contact details have changed and that they're still happy to be your reference. And if possible, get them to send you a written reference that you can keep for a lot longer. Because with a letter, you can keep it forever. And memories fade and contact details change, so referees can be less reliable over time. The best thing you can do before an interview is make sure you research the company that you're applying for, because they're really going to appreciate you knowing background knowledge about them and not just going there because it's a job, but because it's the right job. Why do you want to work there? What do you like about it? And how can you help them improve? Also, if you can, research your interviewer. I know that sounds a little strange, but it's okay to do a little bit of background research on someone in a professional way. You can check out their LinkedIn, see if they have any very obvious interests specifically for their work that you might be able to relate to and bring up in conversation. People like to talk about themselves, and if you ask them questions and get them to start talking, then they're actually going to like you more. It's kind of strange how that works. It's something that I learned from networking for several years. If you can find some common ground between you and your research, that'd be a great subject to bring up because it will really connect you. In one instance, when I was doing a little bit of background research on my interviewer, which, by the way, you can do all of this research and your interviewer might change at the last minute, and that's fine. It's not essential. This is just extra that you could do. I found out that he spoke Russian, so to try and impress my interviewer, what I did was I learned how to introduce myself in Russian. So when I arrived, I said, "Здравствуйте, меня зовут Anna, приятно познакомиться," which just translates to, "Hello, my name's Anna, it's a pleasure to meet you." And he was like, "Oh, do you speak Russian?" I was like, "No, I just know how to introduce myself." But he seemed pretty impressed, and I did end up getting that job and then turning it down for another job, and I leveraged a higher salary. It's what it is. So this is just business, but yeah, it's a good tip if you can. Think about what else you can bring to the company and what your unique selling point is. For me, it was just that I was kind of quirky and wanted to learn an extra language for the interview. And if they call you in for an interview after your application, you've got your foot in the door, and this is where you can really shine. Next, preparation for the interview. You've made it. What now? Confirm 24 hours in advance the time and place of the interview in case anything's changed and they forgot to tell you. Make sure you know exactly where you're going and have contact details for someone within the business in case there's any issues or you get lost along the way. Be prepared in every aspect, not just your work. Everything. I once had an employer offer me the job on the spot at the end of the interview, and he later told me that he thought by the end of it I was interviewing him, which I thought was funny. Not my intention, but now that I think about it, it is kind of a strategy I use and one I'll be talking about shortly. I like to come very prepared and have a lot of questions ready in advance. Another thing you can do for the interview is dress for success and make sure you're showered and clean. Your appearance may not be at the top of your priority list when thinking about your interview, but have a look at the company dress code policy and then try and dress a step above that. Don't forget to wear your confidence. I did go to an interview a few years ago, and I saw that their dress policy was smart casual, and my interpretation of that was stylish dark jeans, a suit jacket, a nice shirt, earrings, generally looking fairly put together. At the end of the interview, I was told that they don't allow any jeans under any circumstances of the practice, and I was very taken aback. I didn't realize that that was an issue. So I'd always say, err on the side of caution, and it's generally better to overdress in that circumstance. You don't want to lose a job just because you happen to wear jeans and they don't allow jeans. But also, I didn't really want to work at a practice that were so strict with silly rules like that. So it turned out okay. This outfit's like conservative and professional, maybe a little bit blingy, and I might pull my hair back or do it in an updo, maybe with slightly less makeup, but overall, I'd say that this is a decent interview outfit that I'd be happy to wear. Bring an extra CV or resume to leave with them after the interview, and potentially any written references as well. A while ago, I got a reference from the mayor of Portsmouth, which I thought was pretty sweet. So I brought that to my Part 2 architectural assistant interview back in 2019. If you're in the creative field, bring examples of your previous work and/or your portfolio. I find it helpful to tab specific pages of my portfolio after doing research in the practice and finding out which overlapped projects we might have that would be key to discuss. You can also bring a laptop with you to show examples or websites depending on the job. Arrive at least 15 minutes early or more and find a coffee shop nearby that you can just relax in and look over your notes. This way you can avoid starting the interview sweating and out of breath. Do your research and have questions prepared which you can review while you wait. You need to go into the interview with the mindset not that you're desperate for them to hire you, even if you are, but they would be lucky to have you. If you think like that, then you're going to be a lot more confident when you go in. You have plenty of options, and this interview is just one of them. The more you big it up in your mind, the more nervous it will make you. So just think of it as another chance to practice. Now we're in the interview.
Oh, hell no!
If it still exists after COVID, go in for a firm handshake, positive eye contact, and a smile. Have a strong, stable voice and try and have good posture on the day. Something I need to work on. Listen to their questions and answer them clearly and with confidence. What are you expecting from the job? What experience do you want? Where do you see yourself in the business in a year, 2 years, etc.? If you show the company you're looking to work there long term, they may be more likely to hire you and invest time and money into making you better with training. This way, they know their investment in you will be worthwhile and will feed back into the business. Now, some questions for you to think about. How can you make your skills from another job, project, or life experience transferable to this aspirational role? What events or people in your life shaped who you are and who you want to be? You can talk about these events and role models and why you find them valuable. What is the ethos or atmosphere in the practice? Show how you can work well within the wider team. By the way, if they don't bring up any shortcomings you believe you have from your applications or your CV or whatever, don't bring them up. This is your time to shine, but if they do bring up something that you're insecure about, just make sure that you're honest and transparent. Explain your situation or work and make it clear to them that you know the areas you want or need to improve in and steps that you're going to take. So let's say you lack presentation or sketching skills. You could say how you're practicing every evening for 30 minutes and learning online. This will show dedication and drive, which are great qualities in a prospective employee. Show that you're eager to learn and enthusiastic about the position, team, company, and wider impact of the work that you're going to do. Mention projects or work that you like from their business portfolio. I'm a big fan of the compliment sandwich. Compliment, shade, compliment. Starts good, ends good, with a little bit of spice in the middle. How you could use this is say that I really like this aspect of a project that you've done. I was a little bit confused about something else in this other project though. It seemed like it didn't go so well. I wonder why. But I really liked how this turned out. I don't know, that's just an example of a compliment sandwich. Or you could do it to a person. You look so beautiful, but I don't really like your shoes, but your top's nice. That would be an example of a compliment sandwich, but I'm talking about it in a professional sense for an interview. So if you can think of one that might be useful, throw it in there, why not? What else can you bring to the business? Promotion and marketing? Do they already have a social media presence? If not, you could say how you could start one. You could help them promote their business, which would be very valuable. Try to answer some of the questions on a little bit more of a personal level so they get to know you better, as long as it's professional. Show your general enthusiasm for life and work, and even how that enthusiasm could be infectious to others in the team and make them more productive. You need to have more than the average if you really want to stand out, and confidence is key. Also, try and put yourself in the interviewer's shoes. If you were the interviewer, what would you want to see or know about someone that you were hiring? I wonder what it's like to be an interviewer. They probably get nervous too. A little secret: most people are a lot less confident and secure on the inside than they might show you on the outside, including me. What you want to do is make the interviewer feel comfortable and confident that choosing you is the right decision. The more confident you are and the more at ease you put them, the more likely they will be to hire you. They're not just looking for an employee, they're looking for a teammate, someone that they can actually work well with. Try and make it clear that you could easily be that person. They've probably seen a snippet of your work and your CV, so they do know a little bit about you, and the interview is a chance for them to get to know you a little bit better. It's also your chance to suss out the business. While the interview is their time to judge you, it's also your chance to judge them as a business. Look at the scene and the situation around you. If you have the chance to interview in the company building post-COVID, look at the staff and observe their body language and see if you can make eye contact with them. Try to get a sense of the place that you could be working at for an extended period of time. This is also a great chance to ask what the staff turnaround is to get to know how long people actually stay at the practice. If people only work at a company for a few months, it can be a big red flag. It could mean that they're overworking their staff and not treating them very well. If you see these signs, it might be best for your future mental health to look elsewhere. I get that you might want or need a job as soon as possible, but is it worth working somewhere you know could be toxic? Try to look out for those signs and don't let a company take advantage of you. I understand that I'm speaking from a privileged perspective to say that you should turn down a job just because it might be toxic. Because for many people, turning down work just isn't an option. But if you can do it, put your mental health first and know when to say no. I have seen too many friends be overworked and underpaid, and I want to see this system stopped. If none of us accept these conditions, they will be far more likely to end. I say this from a place of kindness. I want the best for you. I value your sanity and your happiness. Now, finishing the interview. So the interview's coming to an end. They've interviewed you, and if you're anything like me, you interviewed them too. Have your questions ready at the end if they haven't already been answered. I write down all my questions before the interview and mentally check them off as it goes on. Have specific questions about the company and the work they do based on your background research. You could ask about how many people applied for the role. There could only be a few, or they could be thousands. You won't know unless you ask. If it hasn't come up, this is potentially the only chance you'll get to discuss finances. So take advantage of that and don't be afraid. It should not be a taboo topic, especially in an interview. They know what they're getting from you, and you should be given the courtesy to know what you're likely to get back from them. In the past, if I'd been prompted with the question of what kind of salary I expected, I would give a £2,000 range. Then if I get the job, depending on what their offer is, I can get a sense of how much they want me based on whether they offered me at the top or bottom of my range. Have confidence to know what you're worth and don't be afraid to ask for it. But also be realistic with the amount of money that you're asking for, and make sure you do market research to compare how much other companies might be paying their employees at the same level. Before finishing the interview, make sure you ask them when you might receive a response from them. You may have other interviews that same week who have also offered you a job and will need to hear back soon, so hopefully you'll hear within a few days. And of course, at the end, thank them for their time, whether it went good or bad. It's always important to be polite and respectful. Hold up, we aren't done. You thought we were done? No. What to do after the interview? Write down some notes about how you think it went, observations about the practice, and discussions that you had, and how they could have gone better. What will you do next time to be more prepared? Practice makes perfect. Make sure to send them a follow-up email to thank them again and that you're looking forward to hearing from them and the possibility of working with them in the future. I put a lot into this video, so I hope some of these tips were helpful on your quest for gainful employment and also gave you some peace of mind that you're on the right track. Catch some of my other videos about being an invaluable employee, mental health, organization, and financial planning. If you enjoyed this video, make sure you like and subscribe for more content. Subscribing makes all the difference and puts a huge smile on my face. Be kind to each other, be kind to yourself, and have a great day. Best of luck on your interview.